Moxie Gardens. I'm Mike Toomey, and today I'm out at a box store, a local box store that I'm picking up some CVP and clearance items. I'm going to take them home and I'm going to put them in the yard. Follow along with me. Let's go. Okay friends, so we're going to go on a little tour, but I wanted to back up because if you're just now tuning into this channel or just seeing me for the first time, I wanted you to see that. Get a lot of questions and compliments on that. That's a solid piece of metal, and what it's actually called is a moon gate. I know some of you have thought it's a Stargate from Star Wars, but sorry to let you down. It's actually a moon gate. It's traditional in Japanese gardens. It's full metal. It's hollow in the inside, and it is a full circle. I did dig out the bottom, and my wife and I slid that in there. I drew up the dimensions and the design and everything. And my brother, who is a welding ninja, that's what I call him anyways, he's down in Texas, and he helped me put that together. And so luckily I have him to help me put some of this stuff together, and you'll see throughout the landscape as I'm doing different things throughout and sharing with you that my brother and my children have been, you know, they've helped me do a lot of these stuff. This berm here that I did a tour on that berm, that was a lot of soil brought in by the backs of my children and myself, particularly one of my boys who's still in high school. He's helped me out a ton. This berm here, I've yet to go over this area, but he helped me haul in all this dirt. There are so many bags of soil that are in these little berms that I've created throughout so that I could add all these different plants, because like I mentioned before, and probably it's becoming redundant, I'm a plant collector. I want to add as much as I can into this quarter-acre lot without making it look too wild or unkept or without thought and without meaning. So yeah, I get a lot of questions about the moon gate, and I'll continue to talk about that over the videos if you keep tuning in and allowing me to make videos for you. I will continue to give you more information. But yes, thanks to my brother, I was able to put this in my yard. So anyways, we're touring this area today, and I'm super excited because, like I said, I made the shape last season. Just took a water hose and kind of drew it up, and then I went up to the top of the porch and I just kept looking down, and I'd alter it a little bit, and I would do, you know, you have your own style when you're trying to create something. You just kind of look at it. You don't have to grab a shovel and go dig it up right away. Live with it for a while, especially if it's October. You know what's after that. It's just snow, ice, and cold weather, so you're really not going to be out there. Live with it for a little bit if you're planning on putting in an island and you're not 100% sure. So I know I've got the question, why did you build it up, and what is a berm? Well, that's a berm. All that is soil that is higher than the actual landscape that I moved in with. So if you can see, it's about 10 to 11 inches off the ground. That allows the water to roll off. So like I mentioned before, I have clay soil. And so with clay soil, there's only probably 6 of those plants, maybe 3 of those plants I could have added or kept in my landscape without raising it up. And still, even then, I don't know that it would have been the best outcome if I wouldn't have done the research and learned that if you're not going to create a berm by raising your plants, you give it and amending the soil, you give it an opportunity to be successful. Well, I created a berm and built that up so that I could add all of these different species in here and try to give the backyard a little bit more. Like I said, when I look through that Stargate, it's actually a moon gate, but have fun with you guys because I get that comment a lot. But when I created that, I wanted to be able to sit on the porch down there and look through and see all these different areas. And so this is one of them. And I'll go through those plants here in a little bit, and we'll go one-on-one with them. If you recall, if you've watched some of my previous videos, that back there is one of the areas that I've created 2 videos on it. Actually, one was adding the light, bright foliage to this area to brighten up this dark space, and wrapping it around. And the other one, I went antique shopping and I found this pretty little bike. Again, I've touched on this in another video. I hope this isn't redundant, but if you're tuning in, I think it's important to share with you guys so you understand that maybe I can capture your imagination and you just don't think this is another strictly only planting video. So yeah, we tucked that in, and if you haven't yet seen that video and you're new to this and you're just seeing me for the first time, go in and hit the like, subscribe, give me an opportunity to win you over, hit the bell notification, and we'll continue to ride this out for as long as you let me. So yeah, hope that captures well enough on the video. The sun is at one of those weird angles, but I don't want to wait much longer to videotape this because I am doing it from my phone and I don't want to mess with the lighting. So yeah, all right, let's go ahead and dive right in. So when I planted this area, some of the plants I had previous, I was able to transplant from other areas of the yard. And if you're just starting out landscaping, trust me, you're going to transplant a lot. Those of you who've been doing landscaping for a while, you know, just because you plant something yesterday doesn't mean it's going to be there today. That's the fun in it. You never know. Things grow bigger than you think, or something else grows beside it and creates a different style than you thought, perhaps. And so you're just moving stuff around. Maybe you find something new. Maybe you're on one of these YouTubers and you find something you really like, so you go add it to your plant collection, and then here we are. All right, so that catmint that I put in there, that was transplanted, and that's why it's just a little guy. I bought it last fall at one of the landscapes, or pardon me, at one of the nurseries, and so it was one of those discounted items, and that is actually Persian blue. I think it looks pretty cool, and I can't wait for it to just, and it won't this year, but next year it'll cascade over and it'll give it that airy look, and I'll still be able to see some of the plants behind it. And that blue one, they say that's the truest blue you'll get, the delphinium. I don't know if that shows up blue in here. Maybe over there in the shade it does a little bit more. But yeah, that's a perennial one, and it'll come up every year, and I'm excited to add that. Now that was another one of those budget-friendly type deals. If you go to your local box stores, they're not used to running stuff like a nursery. So if you're a newcomer to gardening and you're just diving into this channel, you go to those box stores. Those guys have so much more on their plate. They get the added benefit of selling plants, but majority of the time they're not set up like nurseries to where, you know, that's pretty much their only goal is to sell plants. So you can get stuff at a discount, and although it may not look sexy this year, pick it up because it's real cheap. I promise you, as long as the root system is good and you have a little bit of leaf structure for photosynthesis, it'll come back strong next year, and you'll be so excited and so happy, and you'll be surprised how much of a difference that one plant, those delphinium, they look a little raggedy, not really standing up too strong, kind of look like they're drunk and leaning on their buddy there. Well, that's okay, because next year that's going to be super strong and super showy, and I'll be able to show you guys out next year real well. Get distracted, I'm sorry. This guy right here is Speedwell. I've got 4 of them in there. Specifically, this is Perfect Picasso, and there's a Royal Brant, but because they're not blooming yet, I'm not sure which one's which. There's one, and there's one tucked in there. And I transplanted those from a real shady area. That's one of those things I was talking about, how in one area you plant it one time, and then in 6 months, by the end of the season, everything's developed, and that's, you know, you find yourself with a shovel digging up something you thought was a promising look for it, and you have to add it to a new location. But can you imagine once, probably next year, next spring, all those blooming, and see those stalks? They're going to be so nice, and it'll be all the way through there. It's going to be really showy. But I have to live with it right now. Unfortunately, gardening is not always a success, so you don't always get what you want. Yeah, so those red ones are dianthus, and they're going to do their thing for the rest of the summer. At least here in 6A they will. I got some autumn joy sedum back here. These were both transplanted. And I'll just continue to show you what was transplanted, because if you're only getting a 1 quart or something from your local box store or nursery and you plop it in, I don't want you to be get your dauber down because it doesn't look like this because I tell you this is a brand new this season. It's just because I've transplanted it, so it's had a couple years or a year and it's in a different location. Oh, and that's actually autumn joy, I believe. Yep. I'm pretty sure it is. Well, that's just a everyday little lily. And it's got some heads on there. It'll start to do its thing soon, so I'm excited about that. And the whole yard, I have different ones throughout, and get those because they adapt no matter what. They can grow in any kind of conditions the way I understand it. Like, you can go anywhere and see those. They grow in ditches. There's a black-eyed Susan right there. That's gonna be so cool, guys. That's gonna be so good when no matter what angle I go. If I come right here, and it's probably gonna get another 6 to 10 inches tall. That bike and everything back there, it's just all gonna blend in. I hope that shows up on this camera, that all this stuff's gonna just pop, just look really good to it. This is Gara. This is a pollinator's friend. I mean, there's stuff everywhere in this yard, but yeah, you see how these stems come up? They're kind of whimsical. I don't know, can you see that? If I was just right here, can you see how it just kind of floats now? It's already had its first flush of blooms, and it'll continue. It's so cool. And that big mamma jamma back there, this purple foliage, almost black probably in the camera, that's 9 bark. And here's some of its blooms going out. But it's so cool. See how its arms just kind of reach? That was the purpose of putting that there. Like I said, if you do research and you learn about your plants, shrubs, if you go to a local nursery and you just get in front, just give yourself an afternoon. And really, just give yourself an afternoon. Decide how much space you have. Take your phone and Google and YouTube as much as you can about the different structures and the likes and dislikes of these plants. But see that? And then with this trail, hopefully light's not playing too much of effect, but you see how it just kind of, it leans over the black-eyed Susan. It intertwines with the Gara. It's just so cool. This catmint, it's another Persian blue. I think I only have Persian blue in my yard, but look at that. See how showy that is with that dark background? Yeah, you see how it's kind of airy. When I say airy, you can kind of just see through it. The foliage, the dark spots clear at the bottom, but you can pretty much see through it. Looky here. The whole yard is just buzzing. And you can have that. If you're new to gardening, you can create that. Like I told you before, I don't know anything about landscaping. I don't have any background in any of this stuff. I just said, hey, let me learn. Let me add some of these different things to my yard. And it turned out pretty well. See all those pink ones back there? That's dianthus. And you'll see a lot of the things that I get are airy because I do have a small yard. And I can't get those big, chunky, bold type items in my yard, plants, because then it doesn't allow for me to add other structures around it. By adding, for me, by adding these airy type, see that? You can see through it? By adding all that, I'm able to add more things because you can see through it. If that makes sense. So I like to add those different types of combinations. See the coneflower? Look at just adding that coneflower. Look at the 3 different colors. Kind of a purple. Look at all this. But does that show up real well on the camera? Because right here it's amazing with that dark 9 bark behind it. That orange really pops. But if I stand right here, look at that. Isn't that cool? Got some crocosmia back here. Again, I planted those from bulbs from a box store. The idea is that this whole area, I'm not sure what's going on, but I planted a mess of them in there. So only 3 or 4, but we've had a really wonky spring, and it's just, I don't know. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. I'm still taking it as win. I've got 3 or 4 coming up. Maybe the other ones are just lagging behind. So, and that crocosmia, I hope I mentioned that's Lucifer. There's several different kinds, or a few different kinds. That salvia right there, I believe that's bumble snow. You can cut that back and it'll flush back out, but I really don't want to cut it down right now. There's nobody coming back in my backyard. Maybe a few neighbors and walker-bys that want to pique their interest and come back here if they can dig up the courage to ask. I invite anybody to my yard, I don't care, but you see that? Most people will flush that out and get ready for a new bloom. I think it's cool just like this. Yeah. Some more catmint Persian blue. Some more coneflowers. Another one of those salvia back there. It's a lily. I just like lilies. I think they're cool. And they're reliable. I don't have to worry about them. There's some gay feather. Can't wait for that to show off. I think it's going to be cool. And that's dappled willow. Hopefully the sun isn't messing with it too much, but can you see the dappled willow and that 9 bark? As they continue to mature, they're gonna sink into one another, and I just think that marriage is just gonna be, it's gonna be amazing. And that's kind of what the look I'm going for. I like them to intertwine, and I've got some thoughts. I'm gonna build a metal structure here, and I've got some thoughts brewing. Hey, can't do everything at once. And I still got a plant in a container. Can't wait to plant him and find him a spot. But that's vanilla cream, Baptisia. It's gonna be cool. Some coleus behind it. You can see that. So this little guy, I've never done it before, but that little guy and that little guy in front of the mirror, or the lantern, I've never done it because I just never have, but those 2 fellas came from Holland. I ordered them off of Brex, and yeah, I just thought it would be cool, and a cool little story to tell others about it, being in the landscape that's from another country. If in the video you saw my hands were dirty, I was planting this Bobo hydrangea from Proven Winners. Let's see if I can, yeah, petite. So size is 2.5 to 3 foot tall, and 3 to 4 foot wide. And I think that'll show off right here because I still got a lot of space. And like this 9 bark, I'm okay with it impeding the walkway. It gives it the illusion that this garden's been here for ever and ever. And yeah, by creating those and planting those different things in areas by a trail, you can kind of create the illusion that it's been there. So yeah, that's where I was all muddy earlier. Probably still had it on my hands and stuff, but yeah. pretty cool. I didn't touch on a whole bunch of the plants in here and the begonias, and I don't know all the names of the lily or the hostas. That's lungwort there. Some lamium. I don't plant stuff in rows. The only time I do is in this instance where it's on a trail and it kind of it's like a runway, so to speak. You create it guides the path, it brightens the path up. Again, these catmint are the Persian blue. Got some Solomon seal tucked back there. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah. So that's newly planted, like I said in my other video a couple days ago. That will take over. And that right there is Brunnera. And I believe that one is blue indigo, and the other one back there, tucked back there, is I want to say it's Queen of Hearts, or maybe it's, yeah, this is Queen of Hearts, and that one's the silver. Yep, some more hostas. I've got a hosta tucked back there, way back there, and that's okay. I like those. The only thing is what I'm not used to is having those greens and yellows. See how those kind of tie in? Not a big fan of it. So that heuchera back there, that one, and that one, those are all carnival coral bells. So yeah, pretty neat. Anyways, I was talking about budget. If you're wanting, if this inspires you to go start your garden today, or create yourself an area where you just want to give it a shot, I suggest you start getting out to your Walmarts and Home Depots and Lowe's, and maybe even some of your grocery stores. They'll start to put stuff on. Yeah, so if I was to show you, this is a Weigela. I want to say like Florida Weigela, I think. I don't know, it's kind of weird. You can maybe fill me in. I can't find the tag, but it's real leggy, and then all of a sudden this year it's just doing that. It is full. And if you go back to, I think, one of my first or second videos, when I reached to this spot, this area wasn't done, but it was in full bloom, and it was glorious. It was so awesome. Right back here is a burning bush. That is a limelight hydrangea, and I have those are the original to my landscape. So there's another burning bush right by the shed. This little nifty character here, again, my brother, myself, and my children, we welded this together. And the idea, without getting my neighbor's yard too much, was that we were going to have all these bird feeders on there. And I do this during the winter time, and it's purposely offset. Again, I have the illusion that in my mind that it's been there for a long time, it's probably not going to be settled and doesn't look so well. But I had to take all the feeders out during the spring because it is LAX under there. It is crazy. The squirrels and all the birds, they just weigh everything down, and all that new foliage, it just cannot hold them. And so it's a massacre. Anyways, and there is honeysuckle, which is pretty neat. Anyways, guys, that's the conclusion. I just wanted to share a little bit more. I probably rambled on more than I needed to. Yeah, so if you are interested in following me, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit that bell notification. Maybe you can answer what one of those were. I can't remember which one it was I was talking about. Anyways, and if I didn't mention, those are, what is it, Main Street Coleus. See how cool that looks? See how it just kind of blends in? See, got distracted again. I just love gardening, and if you love gardening, you can relate. Yep, I'm sure you can relate. Anyways, guys, I'm super excited to be doing this channel for you. If you like what you see, go ahead. I post on my new Instagram as well. It's Moxie_gardens. Till next time, friends. See you on the flip side.